Good morning, evening, afternoon, wherever you are, and welcome to another Nerd Nation stream. Today we are talking Mandalorian Season 2, Episode 4, The Siege. With me are a couple of my usual guests. First of all, my partner in crime, Cousin Cheeto. Say hello, my friend.
Hi.
And our ever-present Yoda enthusiast, Ginger Greek, also known as Pukelorian. How you doing, my friend?
Bonjour.
Very good, very good. So let's just get straight into it. So episode 4 begins, and by the way, this is full spoilers. So I'm going to start off with the first spoiler, and I want to talk about this straight away before we actually start talking about the episode. I was right last week when I said that it wasn't going to be Ahsoka Tano in this episode. What about you guys? Were you unhappy that she wasn't in it?
No, you nailed it.
Yeah.
I mean, I said the same thing, but even I said I think it was going to be the Carl Weathers episode, like the where he goes back with his old friends episode.
I said that too. Yeah, I thought that too.
I said that first, mother.
Oh, I thought that too as a way of like supplementing for the fact they're not going to see Ahsoka. But let's just get straight into this, shall we? So we have a great opening scene with Baby Yoda trying to fix the little bits of the fucking ship, and he's in there and he's making all these little noises like and like Mando's telling him, want you to.
That's the sound that comes from Zam's room in the middle of the night.
Well, he wants to basically put the red wire where the blue wire goes. Now, I was immediately getting flashbacks of Baby Groot, and I fucking hate Baby Groot, by the way. But I was getting flashbacks of Baby Groot from Guardians of the Galaxy 2 when he was having to deal with that bomb and shit. And this is what I was thinking here. Somehow this was too complicated for a 50-year-old person, and Baby Yoda couldn't do this and ended up fucking things up. So Mando has to go to Navarro to sort shit out. What do you guys think of this initial opening scene? Oh, actually, before we get there, I also want to add that we also see, after all of that shit, we also see Mando lifting his helmet up a little bit, having some milk or some drink. He needs to get some repairs, so he goes to Navarro. This was the opening initial little scene. What do you guys think of it? I'll start with you, Ginge.
Yeah, it was fine for what it was. Bit of comedy fodder. I rolled my eyes a little bit at it because I was like, oh, you can see the punchline coming and it's still going to be funny. And I laughed. So yeah, it was fine. It was a nice way to start the episode, trying to fix what, all the cock-ups that were left behind from the previous 2 episodes. So that was a nice continuity there.
I'm actually surprised Mando hasn't given Baby Yoda something a bit more easier to move about in than this fucking shitty little rag he's got on him. He needs to wear something maybe a bit more figure hugging. So when he's doing shit like that, he can move about a bit better. But what about yourself, Roberto?
I mean, I thought it was funny, but I mean, it just I was at work and Gremlins was on the TV, and and then I'm watching this episode because it's the Baby Yoda show, so of course he's going to show up every 5 freaking seconds. I felt like the Mandalorian was talking way too much in this scene. I'm starting to agree with Ginger and the fact, and I think you might have said so too, Zam.
I said last episode he's starting to talk way too much.
I really felt it in this episode. And and he said, you need to put the thing in the thing, and he's like doing the hands and everything, and I'm like, I feel like the Mandalorian should have just gave up after like 2 sentences. Like, I feel like he was just over-explained. Like, they're trying to make him into a parent at this point.
Yeah.
I mean, I'm a parent, so it's like I know exactly, like, you're trying to over-explain to your kid something stupid simple, and they're just not getting it. Yeah, that's pretty much what you sound like, and I've been there.
Okay.
So
I'm gonna be the person to disagree here. I understand where you're both coming from. I mean, if he was, but I think you got to sometimes look at it a couple of ways. When he's being cold ass bounty hunter Mandalorian, he's got that demeanor on. He's in work mode, and maybe here, obviously, with this kid, and he's not trying to be a dad. He is the dad, as far as I'm concerned. The trying is way gone. He is 100% Baby Yoda's father right now, and you can see that in the relationship he has with him. And he's not Boba Fett. We have to remember that as well. He is Din Djarin. His path was a little bit different to Boba Fett's to a degree.
I don't want him to be Boba Fett at all. At all.
But the point is, but you guys are going on about him talking too much.
I feel like that's how he was portrayed in season 1. Was less like not like less.
I thought
He
we
was
were going
less
to
of
get
a
a show.
talker in season 1,
No,
and in season 2, he's just started talking way too much. That's
but
why I called it out, because it's glaringly obvious that that's going on, and it's
no, but
it's a
it's
bit.
what we've been given. We were initially, before we even started watching the show, what we were expecting was like maybe a Boba Fett type of show, but with a different protagonist in the Mandalorian. We never thought he would be babysitting fucking Baby Yoda for the whole entire season and this season. We never expected any of that. So the dynamics have changed now. It's a whole different ball game. And so I have no problems with him talking. I mean, what the fuck we're going to do? Just have pure silence? He's asking a kid to fucking repair shit. I mean, he's gonna.
But it's too much. It's too much dialogue that doesn't need to be. In general, it doesn't even matter what the character is. Just the dialogue is too much. Like it just feels like it's just condescending the whole time, just talking down to you.
And I mean, and I also feel like, I feel like it's more like he should. I don't mind him talking, but like after 2 sentences, like he should have been done and just been like, never mind, come back. And
yeah,
then,
exactly.
Okay, I see that.
Yeah.
I also felt like in episode 2 of this season, he did, he did a lot of talking, and
that's where it started.
I'm not asking for a silent protagonist, far from it, but it let the people around him do more of the talking, which later on in the episode they did. But I just right out the gate in this episode, it was just like he actually had like 12 lines. Like,
my visualization, how I look at the Mandalorian is that when he has to be Mando, as in game face Mando, he can be that person when he has to be, but he's not that person 24/7. And I have no problem with him. I have no problem seeing this side of him. So I mean, anyway, let's move on. So before we do actually get to the opening credits, we do see Cara Dune, the character Cara Dune, kicking ass, beating up those guys who didn't like the way Luke Skywalker looked in episode 4, the same alien. So these people were actually in the forgery of the armor smith who in season 1. Did you guys recognize that?
Yeah, they were in the forgery or putting all their plunder in there. I think they were because they found exactly what they.
Yeah, I don't know exactly what they were doing personally, but I only recognized it watching this episode the second time around. I had no idea where the fuck they were, but I totally forgot about the Mandalorians being underground on that particular planet. But Cara Dune, she goes in there, kicks some ass, good fight scenes. She makes a meerkat pet friend and shit like that. What do you guys think? Start with you, Ginge.
Okay, you've explained that really well. Just want to say, Gina Carano and fighting, it's just such a joy to watch. Like, she's just so brilliant. Like, if you compare the two, like Sasha Banks and how awful her choreography was compared to Gina Carano just such a natural. She bows in there, rolls the guy over, picks him up, it gets shot. She beats the shit out of it. Her choreography is amazing. Like, she is just a joy to watch, kicking ass. And I just want to see more of it. I really do.
You got me thinking there, Jim, because someone like Sasha Banks should be a little bit more duck to water with acting, because wrestling is about fight choreography and it's also about acting and acting too. While she herself is from a professional fighting background, not fucking
and she's better than Sasha Banks.
Performance. Yeah, she's better than Sasha Banks as an actress and as a fight choreographer. So quite remarkable. Cousin Cheeto, what you gotta say about that scene?
I mean, it was great. I kind of wish she was a part of the Mando's like main crew more. Like I don't want there to be like a big crew, that's on the Mandalorian ship. But if we had to pick one character that was on the ship, like that she's met so far, it would definitely be that character.
Oh, they'll be talking about them two having to fuck at some point.
No. See, that's the thing that drives me nuts. Is they think that that's we go back to Star Trek. Go back to Star Trek Discovery when we're talking about Book and Michael. It's like those two did not need to have a romantic relationship. Like it was forced. And
no, neither did Kylo and Rey, but people were fucking obsessed about that as well.
God, and I hated that. That was so dumb. I mean, that was another thing.
See, just to go off on a slight tangent, I wouldn't have mind if it was Kylo that was in love and obsessed with Rey, but she was like, "No, you're a nutter. I'm gonna kill you," kind of thing. And I had that kind of interesting approach to it. But the way it turned out was just pathetic.
Yeah.
Anyway,
but I mean, this is definitely the character that I kind of wish was around more. Like, I mean, Baby Yoda, I know Baby Yoda is the meme and is hilarious and everything, but I kind of wish Baby Yoda was not around as much. And I wish that Cara Dune and the Mandalorian were, doing more team ups and stuff like that. Because you're right. She's a joy to see on screen. She's great at what she does. And even though I don't think she's a phenomenal actress, but she's definitely developing her chops. Like
she's doing what needs to be done for her character.
Yeah,
and that's what you can ask.
Yeah,
she's not hamming it up like Katie Sackhoff did last week, which was just a bit of overhammed with the dialogue. Still great, but that's the difference. She's a bit more subtle with her approach, and she's doing it just fine.
Okay, so we're going to get a little portion of scenes here, and we can go back and talk about it all now, yeah? So, first of all, Mando, he lands on Navarro. That's the planet where Greef and Cara are on. And he sees them. Greef is very happy, obviously, to see Baby Yoda again, because Baby Yoda saved his fucking life in season 1.
He's rocking the goat now.
Yep, yeah. Is he? Oh,
yeah.
Wasn't he doing that last season?
No, he didn't. He had something last season, but he didn't have the full-on goatee last season.
Oh, Carl Weathers looks great regardless, and he directed this episode too, if people didn't realize. We get Baby Yoda going to school as well, and then we have some great scenes with the biscuits, and he uses the Force to get the biscuits, even though the kid. I thought the kid was going to give it to him. I mean, look at his Baby Yoda; it's fucking adorable. Of course, you're going to give him a biscuit, but he said no.
He looks like a wrinkly old man. What are you talking about?
So Baby Yoda uses the Force, and by the way, that's the first time he's used the Force this season. We also get to meet the blue guy. I think his name was Mithril.
Which is weird because isn't Mithril like a blue or like a blue tinted ore in like a lot of sci-fi games? Like it's in a lot of Final Fantasy.
I think Mithril was also the chainmail worn by
Lord of the Rings. Yep.
Yeah, from Lord of the Rings as well. Yeah, that's how what I think of when I think of Mithril. Anyway, he's been defrosted by Greef, and he's been given he's got a 350-year debt to pay off, and basically they then ask Mando. Mando's getting his ship repaired, by the way, and we do get a look at one of the aliens for some reason. Who's repairing the ship, and whilst his ship is getting repaired, Greef then asks him, "We need you to help us with a job. Whilst your ship's getting repaired, can you do that?" Obviously, Mando does. So from the moment he lands, Baby Yoda going to school and the biscuits, blue guy, and the job. What do you guys think of all of that? I'll start with you, cousin Chio.
I mean, it was fine. I mean, I kind of
this stands out.
And what?
Anything that stands out, moments you like, shit like that.
No, Baby Yoda's overdone. Baby Yoda's the Michael Burnham of this show. I mean, it's just overdone. I like Baby Yoda, but like, and I get it. It's a buddy road cop series where these two are going across the galaxy, meeting up with friends, doing jobs, or at least Mando's doing jobs, and Baby Yoda's eating everything. And I mean, it is what it is. I mean, I kind of wish Baby Yoda was a little bit more helpful, but at the same time, it's like, nah, he can't be the meme if he's more helpful. Like.
Yeah, this season, hopefully they won't do this too much, but this season he's definitely a foodie.
Yeah.
Ginger, what about yourself?
I think they're going to keep going with that. Ever since he's trying to eat the frog in episode 3 last season, I think that's. Or episode 4.
I agree with you, but I think they're pushing it hardcore this season, but they only maybe bring it back now and again for previous episodes in the following seasons.
Funny moment in one, and they're just going to milk it because that's what they always do. It was a cute little scene. I mean, the droids just talking about all the different planets and
protocol droids.
Was really good. And then you can tell that he was going to end up using the Force and munching those blue macaroons, which was, I enjoyed that. I thought that was quite a sweet moment. That's more what I want to see, like him using the Force more. Yeah.
No, can I ask an international question?
Yeah.
What is a macaroon? Like
those biscuits he was eating.
Is it like a vanilla wafer, but like
they're like these Italian kind of they're like air fluff, really air fluff, crispy biscuits with a cream filling.
Okay. Okay.
So kind of like, yeah, you bite into it like it's got like a slight wafery texture, but doesn't taste like bloody cardboard. So I just think of it like biscuits, but really whipped. So there's a lot of air bubbles in them.
Okay.
Yeah, I'm not a fan, but a lot of people love them. You have like whole macaroon shops over here in the UK. But the bit I just rolled my eyes at was when they leave the ship to that alien and he looks back at them and you're like, oh, foreshadowing. Gee, I wonder what's going to happen here. And it's like, stop treating us like idiots. Just have him pop up at the end and be like, beacon.
No, I totally agree, but I think the way even though it was foreshadowing, I did forget about him until he did pop up. If you know what I mean.
Oh no, I was waiting for him to pop up. The minute it showed that ship at the end, I was like, oh, here we go. He's gonna say that. Oh yeah, I've put on like
yeah. Actually, I agree with you.
Coming a mile away.
That's an Easter egg from Star Wars Squadrons, because I don't know if that race has ever been in Star Wars before, but that's the first time in Star Wars Squadrons I ever saw them, and so this is I think the first time I've seen them on a show or a movie, which I don't think I've ever seen that race before.
I want to get back to you, James, on something. You said that you wanted to see Baby Yoda use the Force more. I'm in the opposite camp because I don't want Mandalorian always having to, or us as the audience always thinking to ourselves, okay, Baby Yoda's going to get him out of this one. Baby Yoda's going to get him out.
No, hang on. I said I want to see him use the Force more. I did not say to get him out of situations because that's just an easy way to fix a plot.
So you just want him to use it for his own selfish gains, like
in general, learning, having fucking up with it, that kind of stuff.
Okay. I'm glad you said that. I see where you're coming from.
Yeah.
All right. So we're on to the mission of the week now. So there's this old Imperial base, which is where Moff Gideon was hiding out on Navarro. Now, when Mandalorian defeated Moff Gideon and most of his troopers, the base was still there being run by a skeleton crew, and Grief Karga wants this base destroyed, and so that way he gets no more heat from Imperials, and his area of Navarro becomes a good trading outpost. That's basically his plan, and I actually believe him, and I didn't think he was at all going to. I mean, you can tell right now after season 1 that Grief, Cara, Mandalorian, they're tight. I mean, Mando trusted Grief to leave the kid at the school, and stuff like that. So, I mean, they're scoundrels, but they're it's like the honor among thieves type thing, isn't it? So, they go to this.
Consider him a scoundrel anymore, really. I feel like he's kind of.
No, they're scoundrels still, but they're different among themselves. Yeah, among themselves, they're a different type of people. I mean, like, at the end of the day, they know what it's like to be conned and all of that. They've done the conning themselves, and they're just very street smart. But let's just continue. So we get a really good scene when they arrive at the Imperial base. They're trying to go through the door. They can't go through the door. Mandalorian shoots up, pulls down a stormtrooper. The door opens. Obviously, Mithril guys can be used for a lot of comic relief here because they're constantly threatening to
they left Baby Yoda behind. They needed new comic relief.
Yeah, they did.
Right.
Yeah, they did.
Out.
I have to say though that he was a lot more bearable this episode than he was in the pilot. And in the pilot, he was absolutely
in this one.
He was he was unbearable in the pilot. And I'm so glad that they put him on ice straight away. And pun is fucking intended. So what do you guys think of that with the stormtrooper and opening the door and all that shit? That's not really changed.
Yeah, fine. Fine. Brilliant. Getting launched down the thing. But actually, let me hang on. Wait. The visuals when they arrive.
Yeah, I agree.
Oh my god, just amazing. Like honestly, the CGI and in this show is just second to none. It's fantastic,
especially for a show.
Yeah.
It's not even a movie. This is like movie tier. And I mean, I know that's what they say, that this stuff on Disney Plus has got movie budget stuff and movie CGI. But I'm like, yeah, you're right. There's a ton on here that is just movie level good.
Yeah,
it helps. It definitely helps.
So I mean I love things like that because it just all makes sense. Throw the trooper down, the door automatically opens. Star Wars universe sci-fi, obviously that's gonna fucking happen. It's all coded with troopers and shit. It makes fucking sense instantly. Fucking loved it. They're gonna blow up this fucking place. And one of the first things they do is there's a lot of callbacks to New Hope in this.
Yeah,
and there's like first of all when they were dealing with this sort of reactor thing, it reminded me of Obi-Wan.
Yeah, I was just thinking that. Like, I was thinking that. I was wondering if it was gonna make the same sound effect too when he was turning the coolant down or whatever.
Well,
which was because it was turning down the shield in New Hope rather than coolant.
And also, I'm jumping way ahead here, but I will come back.
You don't go into details about every little thing.
No problem, but like also at the same time, nearly at one point when they were battling, Mandalorian was in between the two spots above with the lava in the middle, and it just reminded me of New Hope, where Luke and Leia are fighting off some of the stormtroopers and they're shooting them and shit, and she kisses him for luck and they swing across. But this time he shoots up into the sky with his rocket pack and then drops a fucking stormtrooper down into the lava. Love all that shit. Reminded me of fucking New Hope. I loved all that scene, but I want to jump ahead of all of that if you don't mind.
Oh, that's fine.
We saw possibly some clones. Now we saw what we looked like possibly a clone of Snoke. And I need to pull up my notes here because I want to make sure I get all of this right. So we got a possible Snoke clone, and then we saw the Doctor from the first season who works for the Caminos because he's got that same badge as shit as a Camino. And he was talking about how they've been trying. He basically said M counts, but he means midichlorians counts. Did you guys pick up on that?
Yeah, straight away.
Yeah.
Nothing.
It looks like they're trying to use the blood of Baby Yoda and transfuse it into non-Force subjects, and they might be doing this on clones or something like that. It was very hard to make out. This was a transmission made by the Doctor to Moff Gideon. It was only done 3 days ago, but they're running out of like blood, I guess, when it comes to these transfusions. So they basically need Baby Yoda back so they can continue with the trials. This was some really good exposition. Expanded the story, the universe, got us more involved in what the hell's going on. Furthered the arc. What do you guys think? I'll start with you, Cousin Chio.
This is one of the parts of the episode I really liked because I feel like we're actually getting some kind of progress with the Baby Yoda story. I know he's not really technically involved because he's not there, but I mean, this is the first time since those first 3 episodes of season 1 that we get more progression with the Baby Yoda character or stuff around it.
Yeah.
All the rest of the time, Baby Yoda's just been the meme. I mean, that's all he is.
Yeah. Okay.
I really feel like that this was good because I'm like, I thought this episode was going to be a filler throwaway, but when this stuff started happening, I'm like, oh shit, this might actually be some content here. Yeah. So
yeah, this is where the episode really came into itself. When they just saw the clones, possibly Snoke, maybe not, we don't know, it wasn't very clear. But the fact that they're trying to clone something and they're trying to create the clones with the blood of the Baby Yoda, or create these clones and put the blood in to make them more Force sensitive, was fantastic. It's the first kind of moment where I thought finally we're seeing some progress here, because we've got this little shit and not much has been done with it. Like I thought, okay, that's why I liked the last episode, because there was going after the Mandalorians and also seeing if he can find Ahsoka Tano as well. So there was 2 things there. And in this one, we get this oh shit moment of, so they were using this little shit's blood to try and put into these clones to make them more Force sensitive. And then you kind of see another oh shit moment later on with Moff Gideon, but we'll get to that bit. And sorry,
was that a Snoke looking clone to you? Did you guys see that?
It's hard to make out.
I was watching it on my phone.
An early something may not be a a Snoke clone, but maybe it's like an early prototype that's also might have to do with like Palpatine later on as well. We don't know.
Are we seeing like maybe the early starts of? Oh, actually, I'll get to that a little bit later.
We'll get to that later.
Can I add one more thing before you?
Please.
I really feel like that this episode should have either been the season premiere or a part of the season finale of last season.
Yeah,
I feel like this would have been a great place to either leave the season off, like after they blew up that base, because technically they were still on Navarro, so they could have done this even after they took down Moff Gideon.
The episode was really short anyway, so they could have added that extra 15-20 minutes to do that bit at the end of season 1.
Yeah, season finale could have been like an hour and 25 minutes long. I mean, people would have watched it. They feel like that their fans are not gonna, and I get it, like where you're like the episode needs to be as long. Like I'm a very big proponent of the episode needs to be as long as it needs to be, but at the same time, I feel like that this episode was placed at the wrong place. So it either needed to be the season premiere or a part of the season finale of last season.
This episode was as long as it needed to be as well, though. I did feel that.
No, and I agree with you.
Like, this felt like the right length at 31 minutes, I think it was.
That's what you said.
Yeah.
Couldn't help it. Sorry.
So immediately Mando's now shitting himself, because he realizes that Moff Gideon was the kid, and he's also realized that Moff Gideon's still alive because he thought he fucking killed him.
I think he shit himself more when he found out Moff Gideon was still alive.
He shit himself when Moff Gideon was alive. Yeah.
Yeah. So he this is like the really cool part of this episode. Mandalorian jetpacks his way out of there to go get the kid, and we get a good chunk of this episode with no Mandalorian. We're focusing on Cara, Mithril,
first time,
and Carl and Grief Karga, and they're having to shoot their way out. They don't have the luxury of a rocket pack, and at the same time, they can't get to their speeder. It's down at the bottom. We saw earlier on the Mithril guy fawning over this trooper transporter ship, and Cara Dune's got her eyes on that, and she jumps into it, and they all get on it, and they get the fuck out of there, and they destroy Mithril's speeder in the process, which I kind of liked. And we get a really good scene.
They just landed on it. Shut up, just keep driving.
And then we get a really good action scene, and credit to Carl Weathers' direction here. It was really well done. Like, first of all, I was laughing my ass off when a couple of the speeder guys, they were coming down, and they're just exiting the building, and two of them crash and hit each other and blow up. It was so funny. And then Grief is on the guns, and he's shooting them, and then he has to deal with TIE. By the way, one trooper's on the fucking top of the tank, and he blows into fucking smithereens. That was hilarious. And I love the way he fought with the TIE fighter. And I'm going to go on a tangent here, and I'll let you guys talk about this shit. But you know what? I'm really loving Carl Weathers in this, because a lot of the times when I see Carl Weathers in some of the stuff he's been in, he's basically playing different versions of Apollo Creed. If Apollo Creed was in the military, he would be fucking Dutch in fucking Predator. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It felt like the same sort of guy to a degree. So the way he plays Grief Karga was a lot different. He really is a different character, and I fucking love it.
It's got like more class to him.
He's very regal.
More like
but he feels like one of these regal grifters. You know what I mean? And I do like it. It was a really good action scene. Obviously, Mando comes in to save the fucking day, and we'll go on about that a little bit later. But we had a whole portion of this with no Mandalorian, focusing on these guys, giving them the development they need. What did you think of this scene? I'll start with you, Ginge.
I absolutely loved this scene. I've been waiting for this, speeders and TIE fighters, one big action scene, and it was brilliant. The way they shot the scene, again, I always go back to how they shot the scene, the beautiful cinematography, not the stupid chop change, crazy shaky cam bollocks, just like nice long shots of the speeders going and smashing into each other, and the action scene was crisp and clear. And this is a fucking TV show, but this whole action scene was as good as anything you could put in a film. And it's brilliant. Then you see the bit where the TIE fighters and the wings fold up and they fly off. Oh, I was like, this is Star Wars. This is the stuff I want to see. Doesn't necessarily have to be like the TIE fighters and the speeders, but in that kind of ethos of the ships and just great action scenes. And I loved it. And it was the first kind of time we've had like no Mando for quite a big chunk of the show. And it was nice to see, the chemistry between the trio was really good as well, the way they interacted with each other. And yeah, I really, really love that scene a lot.
Bob?
Oh, wait, sorry, and then, so and then, then obviously with the Razor Crest, I don't know if we're going to talk about what happens inside the Razor Crest.
I'm going to get to that.
My turn?
Yeah.
Okay. This is the moment, like with the TIE fighters and this was the moment that made me think this needs to be the season finale of season 1. Like this needed to be in there because I mean, you had, Moff Gideon come in with the TIE fighter in season 1 and, you had you had the speeder bike people, but it's like, if then they would have expanded out into this, like you would have been like, oh, there was 2 guys on speeders and there was 1 TIE fighter. And then you're like, and then let's say after that, like after they think they defeat Moff Gideon, they go to this base and it's like, oh no, there's tons of TIE fighters and there's tons of speeder bikes and everything like that. Like they're, this is just, they haven't really bugged them at all because they were such a small town. Yeah. So I think this was the moment when I was like, oh, this really needed to be at the end of season 1. Like this whole sequence of them destroying the base. I don't even care if you made a 9th episode out of it from season 1, but a lot of the stuff that happened in this episode, I felt like would have been good wrap up from a lot of the themes of season 1. And we're just getting to it now. Yeah.
All right. Let it go, Bob. Okay.
It's over. It's over by 4 episodes.
So we get finally we get Mando coming back, and my God, did they repair that fucking ship really quickly?
Yeah, they did.
Well, the ship was not necessarily broken down; it was just that it was badly put together. So maybe it was easier to patch up in that sense. But yeah, that surprised me. I didn't like that. Kind of reminded me of that moment in Game of Thrones, which neither of you guys know about. So let's not talk about that. But we get some good dogfighting here. He's in his Razor Crest. He's got a couple of ties to take down. He shoots one from the back, and then he has a game of chicken, and he's spinning because let's try turning. That's a good trick, and it was a good trick. And Baby Yoda's having the fucking time of his life. He's going cheery. It's like Baby Yoda's on a goddamn roller coaster. It was hilarious. Yeah,
I love my ass. And then I'm not ashamed to say.
Yeah, and obviously Mando's gonna kill the last TIE fighter because he's a badass, and then Baby Yoda wants to rise over, he pukes all over himself and shit. And there's that dad moment again of him having to tidy him up. No time for Mando to fucking land.
Oh God!
And no time for Mando to land and say goodbye to Grief and Kara. He's already on his way to do the next fucking thing, and he says goodbye to them, and that was it. Obviously, there's more to this episode, but I'll get to that in a second. Start with you, Ginge. What do you think of Mando coming in immediately repaired?
So just obviously, it's stupid that it got repaired so quick. Yeah. But the dogfighting was fantastic. Again, brilliantly filmed. Really, just the way they were approaching each other, just fantastic. And Baby Yoda treating it like a roller coaster. I shamelessly pissed myself laughing. I thought this, okay, for once they use the comedy in the right kind of way, because he's just like, yeah, this is all fun. Fuck, I don't understand peril and danger. Screw it. And then when he just vomits on himself, that's it. I had to pause it because I was in hysterics. And then he whacked him with his cloth, and yeah, this was my totally shameless laughing my ass off moment.
You see
off and not landing, just saying, I've got to go. It's like, oh, that kind of spoils it a little bit. Yeah, no, Moff Gideon might be on his way, but you think you'd have the foresight to at least stop off for 5 minutes and say goodbye.
Do you think those biscuits were blue milk flavor?
Could be. Yeah.
They were made with blue milk.
Yeah, blue milk macaroons.
Yeah. Bob, what do you think of the rescue by Mandalorian? For once, Mandalorian's doing the rescuing, and he's not being rescued. It was a nice reversal.
Yeah, I mean, it was great. I liked the majority of this end sequence. The Baby Yoda puking thing was kind of funny. I mean, I didn't laugh like Ginger, but
shamelessly pissing myself.
Yeah. But I mean, yeah, I thought it was great. I mean, you know, and man, you're right. Mandalorian finally saving someone else rather than someone having to save him was all, you know, a nice finally.
Mm-hmm.
So
it was really good. I enjoyed that. Now, one of the, like there's a two epilogue ending here. First of all, it ends with the fighter pilot from episode 2. His name escapes me. He's the one of the X-wing pilots. By the way, there were 2 X-wings on Navarro. So Trapper Wolf, Dave Filoni's character, was there. He was just off screen. But the other pilot was there, and he's doing some investigating now. Let me quickly look at my notes here. This is where I got some Lord of the Ring vibes, because when he was obviously speaking to Grief, and Grief was obviously acting like he has no idea what the fuck's going on. You know, he's a good friend to Mandalorian, and he's not giving any shit away. But when this same pilot was talking to Cara Dune's character, he was talking about, you know, some emergence from the darkness and the shadows, and some, you know, murmurings are happening, and all these sort of things are happening in space, and we can't deal with it all at the same time. Yet we don't understand who's doing it all. Not that I got a Lord of the Rings vibe from it, you know, about some creatures from the night coming back, and obviously Sauron coming back and shit like that. Did you guys get that vibe from all of that? I'll start with you, Cousin Cheeto.
No, I did not.
But what do you think of those scenes, though? Like, it was obviously sowing the seeds once again. There was a lot of first order seed sowing, and I thought that was first order seed sowing. Did you?
Right. Maybe. Maybe. I'll give it a solid maybe. Keep in mind, I also at this point I was watching it on my phone, so I know that's, you know, the cardinal sin, but whatever.
Gotta watch it where you can, dude. Doesn't really matter.
Yeah. So, but I mean, I can see your point with that, but honestly, I missed a lot of that conversation only because it was.
You were driving.
Well, no, not driving. I was like sitting in my car, but you know, I was, yeah.
Okay, Ginge, what about yourself? You answer where I'm coming from with the Lord of the Ring vibes?
Yeah, I got the Dark Shadow rumbling kind of vibe.
Yeah,
of there's something brewing, but we don't quite know what. And I've just got to say, I enjoyed this. I enjoyed the dialogue. I just enjoyed the dialogue, because good dialogue in The Mandalorian is so rare. But I really enjoyed the dialogue just between Cara Dune and Jimmy Chong. Sorry, racist, but that pilot, you know, it was just great. You get more of a personal story from Cara Dune, and you get the guy being blatantly honest about the challenges that the New Republic has as well, and it's like, you know, come join us in a fight. And it was just more of a kind of personal moment, not just we're just going to show the fucking X-wing just for the sake of it kind of theme.
They talked about Alderaan,
spiders, and all this kind of silliness, and it was a great little personal moment, something, you know, that's been lacking. I liked it, and I loved, like, Carl Weathers is just loyalty to manners. I don't know what the fuck's going on here, mate. I just, you know, just trying to run a city kind of thing. So really good, like underrated scene, honestly.
The Alderaan callback was nice as well, because you know, people forget that. I mean, in a lot of the Legends novels and stuff like that, that's a, you know, people, I think people in don't realize in the extended universe how much of a big deal the destruction. If anything, the destruction of Alderaan was the downfall of the Empire. They went too far, and it was the end of them. And I like the way it was brought up as well, because it is a fucking big deal. They blew up a bloody planet. I mean, they've blown up. Well, that's in the future, but nevertheless. And the pilot leaves that badge, by the way. I'm not sure if that's her being asked to join the New Republic or anything.
Yeah, it is.
Yeah, I was going to say it's more than likely that.
Okay, so we get to the second epilogue now, which is with the Imperials. Obviously, that mechanic was a spy. He's left a homing device. And we get
that coming at all. I mean,
Yeah,
and
I was blindsided.
Oh, wow.
We get another episode 4 callback with looking at the ship, the Star Destroyer, whatever they're on. We get a nice long shot of it from underneath, and that was pretty cool as well. And this officer, she gets the information from the spy, and then she goes to see Moff Gideon. Now Moff Gideon's looking at these troopers, and these troopers, I believe, could be the troopers that he needs the child's DNA to activate, or something like that. Because that they've got like a Darth Vader vibe about them. These troopers. I don't know if they're human beings, droids, or whatever, or a mixture of both. Obviously, more shit will be found out. But he's very delighted that the asset, as he calls it, is with the Mandalorian, and that they've got a homing beacon on him. So it looks like
maybe episode 4 callback, by the way. Remember, they put the tracker on the Millennium Falcon to find the rebel base.
Excellent. Like I said, so many episode 4 callbacks in this, and a little bit of episode 6 as well with the speed bikes. And even going through the crater, it was a bit like the trench run a little bit. A tiny bit, so there's so many, and that was the end of the episode. So from the moment we saw that ship to Moff Gideon admiring his new troops, what do you guys think? I'll start with you, Ginge.
Well, first off, let's just go with let's draw a comparison between Esposito, Moff Gideon, and the female Imperial trooper, and the contrast between the acting styles. Like Esposito just knows how to do the subtlety of a villain, of a bad guy. And this troop is like so hammed up. Like the villainy when Disney took over is so fucking hammed up. Like that ginger twat in the new sequels. About that, it's fucking jarring. The performances between the two actors it's really annoying. But that being said, it's nice to see the I think they're called either the Dark Troopers or Black Squadron or something like that. No, not Squadron.
I think this is something totally different. I know they look similar to previous ones, but I think this might be a whole new thing.
I think they're going to be forced.
They feature in one of like the new books or something.
I think they're going to be force infused, is what it is. I mean, I agree with Zam. Is that they're probably they're harvesting baby, and I think you're right. I think they're either going to be like droids that are infused with the force, or
like a half machine type thing.
Yeah, like
I think cloning definitely cloned with the Camino Doctor. So cloning is definitely playing its part. We saw all those freaks of natures in those things as well. So
that's right.
And it got me thinking. As good as Moff Gideon is, this as a bad guy, I mean, he can't keep being beaten. Eventually, he's going to look like a complete loser all the fucking time, or he has to be killed off.
Well, does he kill Ahsoka Tano? Are they going to have a lightsaber fight?
He wouldn't last 5 minutes unless he gets force infused somehow. You know what I mean? And even then, from Baby Yoda, who's never held a lightsaber in his life.
Anyway, they'd want a spin-off.
Honestly, if Moff Gideon kills Ahsoka Tano, that would not go down well, in my opinion.
If they do anything to Ahsoka Tano, I mean,
Ahsoka Tano can be killed.
Send off. I mean, he has to die eventually, but like, even if they do the best job giving her a send off, fans will still go absolutely bonkers.
No, I have no problem with her getting killed off, but it's got to be an acceptable way of dying. If somehow Moff Gideon beats her in a lightsaber duel, no one's going to buy that.
Oh, I wouldn't. And honestly, I'm not an Ahsoka Tano fan, but it's like I wouldn't buy that either.
So, I'm not either a fan or I'm not a fan.
I think it's more of a not a tribute, but like a
it's a symbol of unity between the Jedi and the Mandalores, I think it was, or something like that.
Yeah, but I mean, for Carl Weather or for Moff Gideon, it's more of a trophy. Like I don't think he sits there and I mean, he might know how to use it, but I mean, he probably knows how to not use it force wise, but like Grievous did. Grievous knew how to use a lightsaber, but it's not like he was force infused.
Yeah,
I think we're going to get a very dark, and I think we're going to get a negative ending to this season. I think Moff Gideon's going to win. He's definitely not going to win the war, but he'll definitely win a big round. In what sense, I'm not sure. Maybe we kill off a character, a beloved one. Maybe Baby Yoda. Maybe
Yeah,
right. Kill off their number one merchandise machine. Fat chance.
Eventually,
I think they would honestly at this point. I think they would rather kill Mando. Yeah. I would see that before I see Baby Yoda dying.
Yeah,
but I just feel that he has to have a big win. If we're going to keep Moff Gideon on after season 2, he can't lose again. He needs to win, and he needs to win big.
To have possession of the child by the end of season 2.
Yeah, but if he loses a child, he still loses. He needs to win. He needs to the whole line drawn.
Season 2 has to finish with him in possession of the child. It has to.
Yeah, I can imagine.
That's the only way you can get like a good dark ending. Otherwise, you have to kill off either Cara Dune or.
It's very similar to how season 1 ended. No, not necessarily season 1 ended, but the penultimate episode with Moff Gideon having them cornered. He almost like it's almost like he had the child there. It just feels it feels a bit too similar. Having the child.
But that's his motivation, is to get that child.
Yeah.
Unless he gets it earlier on, and then you just see a rise of these dark troopers at the end, standing tall. So all I know is there's 4 episodes left, and they can't be filler episode. If they do one filler episode, I'm gonna have a hissy fit.
Look,
the last 2 I've really enjoyed.
Look, I see. As far as I'm concerned, I don't care filler or not. If I'm entertained, that's good enough for me. I want to be entertained when I'm watching this shit. And if it all kind of works and fits together by the end of the season, so be it. But if every episode is entertaining, it doesn't matter whether it's like giving me the exposition I need to continue the story or it's just a filler. I'm fine either way, as long as I'm entertained. And this episode, once again, whether it be episode 2 or this episode, entertain me. That's how I look at it.
Fair enough.
Zam just wants that sweet, sweet entertainment.
That's it.
It is mission of the week, and it feels like they, with Star Trek, Discovery, and now Mandalorian, they've got this hybrid of making it episodic with an overall arc, if you know what I mean. And they're doing it well. They're doing the hybrid very well, in my opinion. So, what would you give this episode out of 10, Ginger?
Oh, I'd give it about 8. 8 out of 10.
Concur.
Yeah. The marks I knock off are from that the foreshadowing of that stupid alien and Mando talking way too much at the beginning.
I want to give it an 8. I really do, and I did like this episode.
I went into this episode thinking it was going to be filler, honest and truly. Like,
I don't know why I'm saying 7. Yeah, but I just don't. I just look, even you guys might think that 40 minutes is, 30 minutes is long enough, but I think after getting a decent quality world-class episode with the season premiere of which was 54 minutes long, you know that they can do long shows and do it right, and every episode can be done a lot longer than they have been. They all feel rushed since the first.
I think you could have filler within the episode then, and I feel like
I want what you call filler. I want world building. I want padding. I want maybe a bit more dialogue. Everything feels rushed.
They can do world building and not have it be filler, but I feel like this episode did enough world building of what's going on with Baby Yoda.
Cheeto, the way I see it is, if you're paying a subscription to watch this show, the show does need to be longer. That's the main issue. A lot of people signed up to Disney Plus mainly for The Mandalorian, because you saw how many millions of subs they lost when Mandalorian finished. Now, I too subscribed, but I did the month free. But if you're getting 30-minute episodes, it's a bit of a cheat. It is a cheat. Like, minimum should be 45 minutes. Okay, this is the one episode where I feel okay, it did what it needed to do, fine. But you should be getting minimum 45 minutes an episode, because there's not enough other original programming out there that's coming out to keep people entertained. So
why don't they just record an 8-hour series and then just chop it into 1 hour increments, and then the episode ends when it hits an hour? Like, I mean, I get what you're saying. I get what you're
different
saying.
directives.
30 minutes is just not long enough, dude. It's just not long enough. It is.
the previous episode is a prime example where we really needed some back and forth between two different types of Mandalorian cultures, and we never got that. I was so looking forward to them fucking having their arguments when they were on that cantina table, and they never talked about shit other than the mission they were supposed to do. And that's where you need character development and shit like that. And we got none of that, you know, and I want more of that. You know, I want my padding. I really do. You know, I want him just to walk around, interact, maybe pick, you know, somebody wants to pick a fight with him for whatever reason. You know, just give us this world. We don't need to rush the story for the sake of it and cram it into a short space of time unnecessarily. You know, it's like I said, his ship got repaired like that. What the fuck? You know, this is unbelievable.
Like, on to the next. It's like breathe for a bit. Some scenes need to breathe, other scenes don't need to breathe. It's simple, you know.
Yeah.
Let's end it because it's like 50 minutes is.
No, this is being pretty good. I'll give me a mark out. You said 8 as well, didn't you? I'm going for 7 just simply because of the length. Other than that, it was a good job. But actually, unfortunately for Carl Weathers, there is a shot online of one of a member of the crew. His arm is in the picture, and you can see his watch, and you can see a bit of his leg in his jeans and a bit of his top. So a little bit of his body's in the picture. And that was in today's episode of Mandalorian. If you look out for it. Okay, but you know, shit like this happens.
Yeah.
All right, so that's it. So don't forget to like and subscribe, everyone. Follow us on Facebook, YouTube, and our Discord. Look for the Nerd Nation logo when you type in Nerd Nation on the search. Our logo is us, and we're on all of those types of social media. Thank you very much, Ginger, for joining us. Thank you very much, Bob, for joining us. This is the way. Goodbye.